All right, guys, Google search is dead, and ChatGPT and AI are dominating the search game. I mean, within the next 5 years, traditional Google search is basically going to be like the yellow pages. And if you're a millennial, you probably remember the yellow pages. But basically, we had these phone books, and if you wanted to call somewhere, if you wanted to go to a store, if you wanted to buy something, you would open up your phone book, which was hundreds and hundreds of pages, and you would try to find the business that you want to call. Now you just go to Google and you type in restaurant near me, moving company near me, et cetera, et cetera. But I wanted today to go over some data and some search trends so that you get a better understanding of how profound this is. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how, as a business owner or someone who's trying to stand out online, some strategies that you can use to stand out. And listen, I wouldn't consider myself an SEO expert, but I've been running this YouTube agency for the past 5.5, almost a decade now, and I'm just very well connected. I've done over 500 interviews with millionaires and billionaires, a lot of SEO guys. And anyway, I was talking to one the other day, and we were kind of talking about some strategies. So we'll get to that. I'll talk about that in just a moment, because if you're starting a business, or if you want to get hired, if you want to stand out, you need to be searchable. And I'll give you a couple strategies for that. So anyway, let's talk about it. AI search. The amount of people that are using AI to do search, and when I say AI, that's like going to ChatGPT and asking it a question, going to Grok, asking a question, Perplexity. It has now reached over 378 million users. Over 378 million people are going to AI to ask questions. And just for some context, there are 7 billion users, 7 billion people on Earth. That's not counting, children or the very elderly people that aren't really using search at all. But I mean, 378 million is a pretty big chunk. Pretty big chunk. That's what, roughly 5%, 7%. You can check my math on that. But that's only growing. And especially when you consider that nobody was using AI for search 24 months ago. And now you've got a huge swath of the population that's using AI search. That's a huge trend. Google's market share for search has dipped below 90%. And they've even integrated Gemini AI kind of summaries into their search as well, which is showing up in just about 50% of searches. So if you go to Google and you type, what's the best Chinese restaurant near me, then, Google, you'll get your traditional search results, but then Google is going to give you an overview. So the question is, how do you stand out? If someone goes to ChatGPT and asks, who's the best realtor in Coral Springs, Florida, are you going to pop up? That's the question. And because if you don't show up, you're not getting the sale. And that's kind of traditionally how it's been on Google. If you're not on the first page of Google, you don't have the Google reviews, you're dead in the water. So the way that authority is tracked is different. The way that you're going to need to stand out on these large language models is going to be different as well. And again, we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I want to go through some more data here with you, some more stats, to just kind of reinforce how important this trend is. And again, when you consider how fast this is moving, it's really remarkable. It's truly, truly remarkable. And just by the way, I use my kids, when I'm driving in the car, they don't say, let's Google it, which has been a pretty ubiquitous term. Let's Google it. They now say, let's ask ChatGPT. That's what they say, just because the answers are more interesting. The voice, the ChatGPT voice is really engaging. And again, we'll talk about that here in just a second. But what I think, again, is relevant is that it's only getting better. It's only getting more profound. More and more people are using it, and the speed with which it's being adopted is pretty tremendous. The other thing that's, again, anecdotally really powerful about AI search is that it's contextual. It's contextual. When you go to Google and you type in who's the best realtor near me or whatever, it's not going to give you a custom answer to that problem. Whereas ChatGPT has a memory about you. I actually record an entire video about ChatGPT's memory. We can put a link up here. I think it's really important. But there are 4 different ways that that ChatGPT stores your memories about past conversations, about your user profile, and that is used to give you a better result. It's used to give you better answers, where Google's not going to do that for you. Google search will not. ChatGPT search will, because it knows, you know, your age, your likes, your dislikes. It's going to have a history of your previous conversations. So it's going to, again, give you a much more custom, specialized answer. So I think that that's one of the reasons why AI search is becoming better. The other reason why AI search is becoming much more popular is, and I alluded to this, is voice. So there are over 89 million people using voice assistants right now. 89 million people. And I gotta say, the voice assistants are sick. They're so sick, and they're only getting better. I mean, as someone who was using a voice assistant a year ago, it is so much better. If you've never tried this or tested it, just open up ChatGPT and just start having a conversation. You'll be blown away. You will be blown away if you've not experienced this. I mean, about a year and a half ago, I had an entire podcast that was recorded using 11 Labs, which is an AI voice model. I cloned my voice. It took me about 10 minutes. And the entire podcast was AI. And then at the very end, I said, oh, guys, by the way, this has been entirely AI podcast. This is not me. And I got dozens of emails of people who were like, holy cow, I had no idea. That's crazy. And that's where it was a year and a half ago. It's way better now. It's way better now. And by the way, for all my entrepreneurs out there, I think this is one of the biggest opportunities that we have to start new businesses is leveraging AI voice. AI voice is really, really powerful, like obscenely powerful. So I would encourage you, and I recorded a video about this yesterday, you can go check that out. When you're thinking about some sort of business or income model, be thinking about AI voice. I think AI voice is extremely underrated right now. It's extremely powerful, and it sounds very, 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 very good. Other stuff like AI video is also great, but to me, it's not quite where it needs to be yet. You know, listen, if you're a great video editor, VO3 is going to change your life. But for the average person, AI voice is obscenely good. So I think that that's ready for prime time. I talked about some businesses yesterday that are leveraging it, some stuff that I'm working on. But AI voice, boys. AI voice. Let's get on it. Okay, let's keep talking about Gen Z. Gen Z, guys, is 82% of Gen Z are using AI on a regular basis, 82%. And quite frankly, the other 18% are also using it. They probably just maybe don't know or think about it. You know, like my wife does not even have ChatGPT on her phone, but you know, she's still using Gemini and other tools just because they're all kind of built in. So Gen Z is all in. And if you're a millennial, like I am, you should also be using AI. You want to be part of the percent of millennials that's using AI. And just leveraging your wisdom, your experience, your critical thinking, and maybe your authority in your space. Leverage AI to just become even more dangerous. Because the one thing that Gen Z is not going to have yet is the experience in the field. Not to say like Gen Z is going to crush it, y'all. I don't think the world is ready for what Gen Z is going to be able to do with this tech. But again, the competitive advantage that we have as millennials is we have a little bit more experience. We maybe have some more connections. So that's what I'm leaning into. That's what I would recommend leaning into. And if you're Gen Z, I think that it's kind of, you know, obviously you're using AI, but you also want to lean into real in-person relationships. They're going to be, I think, underrated as more and more kind of like fake type relationships, internet-based relationships. It's just hard to connect with someone online. Listen, I don't want to go too deep into that, but let's keep looking at these trends of AI search usage. And then again, we'll talk about some strategies to leverage it. Okay. So I thought this is pretty fascinating what ChatGPT is doing. ChatGPT has 5 billion monthly visits on its website. 5 billion. That's a lot. There are 100 million active monthly users. 100 million active monthly users. It is the number 5 most visited site globally. And considering nobody had heard of it 2 years ago is just really striking. It is just a great tool. Great tool. It is a great tool. So again, those are some facts. Those are some stats. By the way, I used AI to gather these stats. I used Grok's deep research tool, which is fantastic. It is it is obscene how great it is. But here's the thing that we need to be thinking about is how to be seen there, because what we're experiencing right now, guys, is probably the biggest transformation in the internet since the internet itself. We went from the yellow pages to search to AI to LLMs, and it's going to be really, really important that you stand out there. So how to leverage this? All right, how to leverage AI? I think the key, and based on the conversations I've had with SEO guys, there's going to be a lot of the same concepts that have played out in the past. Do you have domain authority? Do you have a lot of backlinks? Are your pages properly tagged? Do you have the correct HTML information embedded in your sites? Are you leveraging keywords? Do you have YouTube videos linking? Do you have high authority backlinks? All this stuff is going to play a big part in being found in ChatGPT and AI search, okay? But there's one thing I think that people haven't fully captured yet, which is a big place that I'm looking at, is creating highly specific searchable articles and blogs and videos at scale. So for example, instead of saying like the top 10 restaurants in Coral Springs, Florida, you might say the top 10 Chinese restaurants in this zip code, okay? Or the top 10 female realtor specializing in luxury real estate in Fort Lauderdale, Florida's intercoastal. Okay, so you can be very, very, very specific, because when people are chatting with their AI chatbot or going into their AI chat to do search, the more focused, the more specific you are with your articles that you're writing and your blogs, the better the chance of standing out. And the reason why this was not possible in the past is that writing blog articles is hard. It takes a lot of time. I used to pay $100 plus for a blog article. Now we can use AI to get it done in 5 minutes. So that is, I think, a huge opportunity for anyone. If you want to stand out, if you want your business to stand out, start writing articles at scale very quickly using AI. Make sure they're formatted properly. But and this is one of the AI projects I'm working on, is one button click for realtors, so that you can populate your website with dozens and dozens of blogs that are highly specified. So that's what I've got for you today. That's what I think that, and that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I would encourage you to think about, and go out and conquer, baby, because this is a huge opportunity, guys. This is like AI search and AI's rise to dominance is going to completely transform these industries. Who's going to win? Is it going to be you? I think so.